Hi, I'm Lorie Coates, BCBA and coordinator of the BAIT team.
And I'm Joceline Ruiz, BCBA and coordinator of the BAIT team. And we're so excited to be back with another year of the BAIT debate.
It's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. We have lots of exciting things to talk about this year. So BAIT debate will address simple research-based behavioral practices that will work with individual students or groups of students in school settings. The situations that we'll be talking about are adapted from what we are seeing and hearing in schools. These are common struggles with students of all abilities, and although they are simple strategies, they will be effective at decreasing challenging behavior and making your day just a little bit easier. We're excited to share these strategies to make them available to gen ed teachers, sped teachers, and all staff working in schools. And don't forget to check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the social media, Behavior in Progress. For Instagram and TikTok, that's behavior_in_progress. All right, well.
Ready to get started for today?
Yeah, let's jump into our episode.
All right, well, what's our topic for today, Joceline?
Before we talk about the topic,
Yeah.
I want to tell you a joke.
Oh, I'm excited.
That it relates to the topic.
Okay.
What is a behavior analyst's favorite kind of fruit?
Oh, shoot, I thought I knew this one and I've forgotten. Darn.
It's cantaloupe. So we'll be talking about elopement today, or as we like to call it, tricky tag. So elopement, some people may think that this is when you go off and get married, but when we're talking about elopement in school settings, most people will call this having a runner in their school.
Yes. Which I think is funny.
Yeah, a runner.
A runner, yeah.
So Lorie, are there different types of student elopements?
There's so many different types of elopements, which it really changes how you see things as to whether it's a dangerous or not a dangerous situation. So, for instance, there can be a classroom elopement, so a student's just running around the classroom, or they can be running through the building, inside the building, running into different classrooms, or they could get outside the building. And some of our students are even eloping off campus. There's different reasons for our students eloping as well. Some are trying to escape a task or a situation. Some are trying to gain attention. We see a lot of that, trying to gain attention. And some create a safety concern, and some don't really. It's more of a school disruption. And then some are even just irritating. Sometimes the running around the classroom is just an irritating kind of elopement. Mm-hmm. With all the different types of elopements, how do we know what to do, Joceline?
Well, you mentioned in your response that sometimes students may be eloping for escape, or they might be eloping to gain some attention. The first thing that we need to do when we're seeing students elope is take a bit of time and assess the function of the behavior. Once we know the function, we are better equipped to respond to the elopement.
Right.
If you see the elopement happening during certain subjects, certain activities, certain areas, or with certain staff, then probably the student is trying to escape some kind of aversive situation. But when the student is eloping, if they're looking back at you and saying things like, "You can't catch me," or just trying to see if somebody's following, it's probably attention that they're trying to seek out. And it's important that we identify the functions, because then, like I said, we're better able to know how to respond to the different types of elopements.
Absolutely.
If you hear a student saying something that can be concerning, such as, "I'm going to run in the street," or "I don't care, I'm going to go home," this could be either attention or escape. So again, we have to take some time to determine what the function is and go on from there. So once we have an idea of the function, Lorie, how can we calmly and safely respond to student elopement? And what if we don't know the function and this is the first time the student is eloping?
Well, for the first timers, that's a different question. So let's talk first about what do we do with our elopers generally. And one of the first things that we remind schools is quit playing tag. They're wanting to play tag, quit playing tag.
Because
It's
you're
not-
it.
Yeah, because you're it, and they're quite often faster than you. So you need to assess the danger points, like if there are any, and find ways to limit attention. So this is what we usually think about: is what's dangerous? Is this, does the student tend to run off campus? Are there or out the doors? Are there doors that we can monitor a little more closely, knowing that that's where that student goes? You can also have a plan for monitoring things in the hallway or in the outside the doors by using the school cameras. So the schools have cameras everywhere, and we can find an angle that'll help us to monitor the student without playing tag with them. Using environmental engineering as well in your classroom. So looking at, can I position my desks in a way that it's a little bit harder and it'll slow the student down just a little bit to get to the door? Or maybe look at how the adults, if there's more than one adult in the classroom, how do we position our adults so that it's a little less accessible, right? So you can do all of those things. You can limit the elopement areas and threats by doing that. You can withdraw attention if it is escape behavior. Look at what the student is escaping from and determine ways to adjust. Give attention frequently. So that was the other thing, is we want to give attention to students frequently and not just when they're eloping and running out of the classroom. So that's an important place for us to start.
Yeah.
Now, the first time a student elopes, I think that's another area that really makes schools a little anxious because they don't know where the student's going to go or how the student's going to react. And so we tend to have a bigger reaction for ourselves. So the one thing I would do is just say, take a deep breath when you see a student eloping and take the time to say, is this dangerous or not dangerous? What's happening in this situation? I had a student for a while that the first elopement was the same as the rest of the elopements. There was a red couch in the office, and the student always went to the red couch in the office. So that became one of those elopements that you could easily say, it's not dangerous, it's just disruptive, and it's safe, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. Schools are worried about safety. Every school thinks they are on the busiest road in the whole county, right? So, which it feels like that when a student is on the loose.
Yeah,
kind of
and they're outside.
It really does feel scary for schools. So do you have any advice for the schools other than that?
You talked about environmental engineering in the classroom, and I just wanted to touch back up on that. For the students who are frequent elopers, we can position their desk like at the front of the room or somewhere where it's not close to the door, so that if they were to elope, a teacher is there and it's closer in proximity and can intervene quicker than if the student is right by the door. Because there's been situations I've been in where we've had elopers and they're sitting right by the door.
Just for easy access, right?
Right. And so kind of looking at those arrangements in the classrooms, I think is helpful.
Definitely so.
Another thing in the classroom, too, that can just kind of limit the elopement a little bit is positioning your furniture to make it a little bit harder for the student to go out the door. Just, maybe they have to do a couple more turns in the classroom to get an exit out. So, yeah, there's some things that we can look at in the environment to help decrease those elopements.
Definitely, I would say.
And then teaching those replacement skills.
Right.
So once we've determined the function, teaching them an appropriate way to gain access or to escape whatever situation they're either trying to get away from or they're wanting access to.
We definitely can't ignore the idea of teaching skills to students so that they can find more appropriate ways to get what they're wanting.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, thank you for turning into this episode of Bait Debate. We are excited, as we said at the beginning, to have this opportunity to share behavior strategies and to be back for another year. We love talking about these strategies, and today's topic of tricky tag is one that we encounter often, and we'd love to hear more from you guys about what you're seeing. We hope the information presented was meaningful to you all today, and we also have lots of new exciting topics we'll be covering throughout the school year to keep you and your educator friends reeled in. Be sure to like and share, and catch you next time.